Hello,
Hi.
good to meet you. Could I confirm your name and age?
Yeah. Nicole Kennedy. 27.
Okay. Nice to meet you, Nicole. My name is Mary. I'm a clinical psychology student at the Chicago School for Professional Psychology here in Washington, D.C. My supervisor, she is Dr. Lisa Lindenfeld. And so before we get started here today, I do want to kind of give you an idea of what we'll be doing. So we have about 50 minutes here with each other. During that time, I'll kind of get an idea of what brings you in today. And I'll also be asking a number of questions about just like the context, just to get context about your background to kind of place the issue into, context. And so I can provide further impact or further feedback in terms of treatment in the future if you do continue to come with us. Before we get started, I do also want to let you know of confidentiality. So as an adult, you are entitled to confidentiality, meaning whatever we discuss here today will stay between us. But I do have to let you know of some limits to that confidentiality. So the first would be if you gave me the impression that you were of imminent risk of harming yourself or others, I would be required to intervene in some way. Another limit to confidentiality is if you let me know of any cases of or ongoing abuse of any vulnerable population. So that could be a child, that could be an elderly adult, or a person with a disability. Even if it had nothing to do with you, I would be mandated to report that information. And the last limit to confidentiality is if at any point in the future you are involved in some sort of legal proceeding, and the court deemed it necessary that I turn over any of the files related to our time here together, I would be mandated to do so as well. So I know that's a lot. Do you have any questions about anything about confidentiality?
No.
Okay. As you can see, also, we are recording this session, and so like I mentioned, I'm a graduate student, so the recording is done just so I can go back to my supervisor and so she could give me feedback so I can improve upon, my training and things like that. So after that purpose is served, the recording is destroyed and, we don't keep it on record or anything like that. So along with those limits to confidentiality, she would also be someone who would be privy to the information we discuss here in this meeting. So if you have no questions about that, can I get you to sign this consent form that basically just outlined what I just explained to you?
Okay.
Thank you. So if there are no other questions, or do you have any questions?
I'm good.
Okay. So yeah, if there are no other questions, we can just jump right into it. So how about we start by you telling me what brings you in today?
I just have been feeling more tired over the past couple of months and just finding it difficult to concentrate. I'm just not motivated to do the things that I once used to do or enjoyed. Yeah. Just feel like I changed. I feel like I'm going through a funk.
And you said you've been feeling like this for the past couple of months?
Since July.
Since July. And when you describe that you're feeling tired and that you can't concentrate, is this mostly every day from July up until this point?
Yeah.
Mostly every day. When did you first notice? I know you mentioned in July that it was first. I guess you first noticed it. Did anything in particular happen where it kind of triggered you going into this low place?
I don't know. I feel like July is supposed to be this kind of happy, exciting time. It's summer and it's hot and the weather is great. And I mean, good things were happening. We started planning. My fiance and I started planning for our wedding in next year. So I feel like that should be exciting. And yeah, so that kind of happened in July too.
Okay, so you started planning for your wedding in July.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Is that like a source of stress for you?
It's just a lot of decisions.
A lot of decisions.
A lot of decisions to make.
Okay, so you would say that stress kind of triggered you going into this low place where you don't feel motivated, you feel tired.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot to do.
Right. And so before that, do you can you recall any time where you felt similar to now?
Yeah, a couple times. One time was when I was 18.
And could you tell me more about that time?
Yeah, I was just starting college, and I just kind of felt like this. And I was tired and just, like not motivated and just going through, feeling like down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, describing your mood during this time, currently, and then this time when you were 18, you would say it was a low mood, depressed mood.
Yeah, but I think I was worse then.
Worse when you were 18? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then was that the first time you noticed a time where you were this notably low?
Yeah. Okay. I feel like it was worse because, like, it just was more intense then.
Can you think of why it might have been more intense?
Because I just didn't feel like life was worth living at that point.
And do you currently feel that way, that sense of hopelessness?
No.
You wouldn't say? Okay. And has it ever gotten, so bad to the point where you thought of ending your life?
There was one time where, like, there was an incident when I was 23, which was the second time that I felt like this. My boyfriend at the time, fiance now, we were driving down, like, a road, and it was, like, a quiet road, and we were arguing. I forgot what we were arguing about. We were just arguing, going back and forth, and I just, like, got really overwhelmed, and I'd had those thoughts, like, prior to this moment, and I just kept thinking, like, I don't know how to get out of this. I don't know how this is going to get better. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this. And while he was driving, I opened the door and pushed myself out.
Okay. And what were some of the consequences of that?
Nothing major. I had some, like, scratches, major scrapes, but I didn't break anything. I didn't hit my head. I didn't have to go to the hospital.
And so your boyfriend just pulled over and...
He was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. And so does your now fiance, does he kind of know how you are feeling and how you've been feeling?
He knows that I've been just so tired recently. Mm-hmm. More tired than normal. And that so he's not around during the week, Monday through Friday in the morning when I wake up. He, like, leaves the house at 7:30. So when I get up, he doesn't realize, like, how late I'm sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but on the weekends, we wake up around the same time, so he's, like, aware of the fact that, like, I'm sleeping as late as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll, like, want to do things, like, go camping or go on a hike and wake up and go outside and be active. And every time he, like, wakes me up to do these things, I'm just like, oh, like 5 more minutes. And he's like, why are you so lazy? Like, why are you so tired?
Mm-hmm. So he doesn't really he just thinks you're just generally tired. So,
right.
When you were 23, though, and you did jump out the car, did he, how did he interpret the situation?
I don't really remember.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was just more like, again, we were fighting. He didn't know that I was, like, doing it with the intention of ending my life.
Right.
He just thought I was trying to get out of the conversation.
Okay.
And so I think that's why nothing really happened.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, I told my mom, and she was like, you need to see someone. You need to see, like, a psychiatrist and a therapist, and you need to, like, figure your crap out.
Mm-hmm. And did you go after?
I did.
Okay.
So I saw a therapist for about a year. She was an ACT therapist. And then I saw a psychiatrist, too.
So you saw the psychiatrist while you were seeing the therapist or afterwards?
The same, like I
At the
kind
same
of went
time.
simultaneously.
Okay.
Yeah, saw the psychiatrist, and I was in therapy for about a year.
Okay. And how did that go for you?
I don't feel like I ever really connected with this woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the relationship was not. I don't think I ever really trusted her and didn't really open up as much as I could have. I feel like seeing the psychiatrist was helpful, and so after a year of therapy, I was just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm done with this.
Mm-hmm. So you did think the psychiatrist was helpful?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you ever prescribed any medication?
Yeah, I was on Wellbutrin, 150.
Okay. And do you currently still take it?
I stopped a year ago.
Okay. Is there any specific reason why you stopped?
I was feeling better. I was
Right.
feeling good, normal. Just like I didn't need the meds anymore. So what was the point of being on them?
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I stopped seeing the psychiatrist. I was going like regularly to get my refills, and I stopped seeing him and just never told him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you stopped seeing the psychiatrist about a year ago as
Mm-hmm.
well. Okay. So.
So just want to clarify, I only did therapy for a year. So from
Right.
23 to 24, I did therapy, but then I was on meds from like 23 to 26. So
Right.
a year ago, I stopped. I know it's confusing.
Okay. So. Sorry, I'm just going through my notes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have here your first, I guess, time where you, first period of time where you felt down at 18 and then again at 23. Were there any other times where you felt notably down?
My parents got divorced when I was 10, and I just remember feeling really sad after that.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's when I was little, 7. And so when I was 10, she like really started to kind of go cognitively. So I think that was also, I just had a lot going on, and
Mm-hmm.
my mom made me after the divorce go see a therapist at that point for like 6 months, but I thought it was stupid, and I think she's trying to be proactive with everything that was happening, and
And if you can remember, were you feeling the same sort of things when at 10 and at 7, where just can't concentrate, feeling tired, feeling down?
yeah,
Generally.
mm-hmm. But I think it's like worse now as an adult.
Okay. And so, were there any other times besides these 3 where you felt notably down? What about the opposite to that? So, has there been any time, any period where you felt really, really happy, elevated mood, and felt like you could just, get a lot of things done, felt really motivated?
No.
No? Okay.
Like, I could drink coffee and feel like energized,
Right.
but not like that.
And during these low periods, would you say you have ever heard or seen anything that you don't think other people were perceiving or other people were seeing or hearing?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. What about outside of this low mood? Would you say?
No.
Okay.
Like hallucinating, right? No.
Yeah, just seeing. Yeah. I do want to jump back to this time when you were 23 years old, where you felt so overwhelmed that you did want to end your life. I know you mentioned currently you don't feel like that. Am I right? Do you currently feel?
No, I do not. Like
Okay.
right now.
Yeah.
But I think that's also kind of why I'm here, is
Right.
because I don't want to get back to that point.
Mm-hmm. I see.
So I'm trying to just be as proactive as possible.
Right. Okay. So, do you think there would be anything that would kind of push you to that point again of feeling so low that you do want to end your life?
I mean, like there'd be some pretty extremes, like my fiance leaving, losing my job, being homeless.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like then I wouldn't probably want to stay around, but I don't foresee any of those things
Right.
happening in the future. on wood.
And so you currently live with your fiance?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any kids?
No.
Okay. And so I know you mentioned that your fiance kind of just thinks this is just, general tiredness. How do you think a conversation would go if you were to give him a little bit more insight into what is going on with you? Do you think he would be supportive?
I think he would be supportive. I think it would make him sad, but I really don't want to have that conversation with him.
Mm-hmm.
As it is, he doesn't know I'm here right now, and I'm just going to try to work on these things on my own.
What about anybody else? Maybe friends or any other family members?
I feel like I've done a really good job of kind of holding it together, and like no one at work's noticed. My friends I kind of still see regularly, like when they hang out, like the group of girls would get together once a month, and I always show up for that. And my best friend lives like around the block, so her and I text and talk regularly. So I'll see her, but I don't think she necessarily catches on. I think they all just think I'm more tired and more stressed with the wedding. And yeah.
But if you were to have that conversation with them,
I'm sure they would be supportive. Right. I just really don't. I don't want them to be worried about me.
Yeah.
Like constantly checking in and
yeah. So what about your immediate family? What does that look like?
Well, I'm not really close with my dad. I think, with the exception of like finances, it's the only support that I get from him, and that's really like I don't reach out as well. So like in college, he paid for like my college bills and like my tuition and helped me out a lot. But even now, he's helping with the wedding. But like emotionally, we're not close. Mm-hmm. And after my parents got divorced, he got married 2 years later, and then had 2 kids. So I have a half brother and half sister.
And are you close with them? No. Okay. And what about your mom?
Just complicated. Like after the divorce, I felt like I had a lot of responsibilities that like a 10-year-old, between like 10 and 15, I was kind of like making my own dinner when I got home, responsible for doing my homework, doing the laundry, home alone a lot, like Monday through Friday when I was visiting with my mom. And I think as an adult, I'm kind of resenting that more. And just wishing that I had like an actual mom and not like a best friend, because I think she took on not the mother role that I needed her to be. And then even just more recently, like we were really close, but this year with the wedding, she essentially kind of got overly involved and like wanted to make all of the decisions about the flowers and the dress and the venue, and we kind of got into it one day where she was telling me what I should do, and I didn't agree with it, and then I just said, like, you need to cut it out, and, like, you need to back off, and this isn't your wedding, it's mine, and that was, like, in July, so we haven't really been talking, and she's, I think, respecting the fact that I wanted space, and I'm not doing anything to reach out.
And to your knowledge, is there any instance of any sort of psychiatric illness among your mom or your dad or anyone in your family?
I feel like my mom was really sad when the divorce happened. And, like, my grandmother died, so when I was 12, so I feel like maybe that also kind of threw her for a loop. But I was young, so I don't really know if it was ever diagnosed or what.
Anything else that you can remember?
No, my dad has cardiac disease. I don't know if that's relevant. And yeah, and then the Alzheimer's. It's like the only mental stuff
And what about you in terms of your medical history? So, do you have any illnesses of any kind, or had any illnesses, or any instance of head trauma? I know you said you were fine after the accident. No. Okay, so nothing before then. Okay. I know you kind of went into your childhood a little bit and how it was like growing up. I don't know, maybe through talking to your parents, did you have a normal birth? Were you a normal child? You know, did you meet all your developmental milestones on time?
I was born full term.
Okay.
I know that because my mom was like, you were born on your due date.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was like vaginal, like normal. Mm-hmm. And then in terms of, did you say milestones?
Yeah, developmental milestones.
I walked at 12 months and talked at 12 months. I think I was on par with that.
Okay, so coming back into the present now, can you take me through like a normal day of yours and, you know, just how things kind of go for you?
So I wake up, well, I work at 9. It takes me about like 20 to 30 minutes to get there. I wake up at like 8:15, 8:19 if I can really push it. Mm-hmm. And then I'm doing like the minimum, like throwing my hair up, brushing my teeth, putting like chapstick on, finding something to wear that's like clean, and then running out the door. I used to like pack my lunch and I'd have coffee at home, and now I'm just like grabbing things on the way. Mm-hmm. I'll work till about like 4:30ish, 4:35, get home, and then the first thing I do is like throw my crap down and just sit on the couch and watch TV. And then I usually fall asleep, and then my fiance gets home, and we used to like cook and find these really cool healthy recipes, and honestly the idea of like chopping vegetables just seems like too much right now. So I'm always suggesting takeout and like, let's get pizza, let's get Domino's, let's get Five Guys, let's do Uber Eats, or let's go out to dinner. And yeah.
So your husband has, or your fiance has more of the desire to do those things, and you just kind of don't want to do them?
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, what's the point? It's like, it's October. There's no reason to like, the holiday seasons are coming. Just kind of indulge.
Yeah. And would you describe those eating habits as unusual? I guess prior to July, would you?
Yeah, like I said, not that I was like overly focused on it, but I do like to eat healthier, and I do like to eat kind of clean, just because I feel better after. So after I eat like Five Guys or pizza, I just feel like lethargic and just even more tired and just want to go to bed. Whereas if I eat like a salad, like I just feel lighter, like my stomach is like not growling, and then I feel like more motivated to go to the gym and run or do those things, which
have you noticed any fluctuations in your weight over the
I haven't even been weighing myself.
Okay.
So I just don't even care.
Right. What about anything you've noticed, or like in the mirror, just with your fiance, anyone notice?
I mean, my clothes are a little bit tighter, but I don't think it's like, I don't think I put on 20 pounds.
Okay.
Like, it's not significant enough. It's just, like I said, between I'm not working out anymore. I'm not eating the best. So it's bound to happen, but I also just kind of don't care.
And what about any substance use, so any alcohol or any other drugs?
I drink, like a normal amount.
How often would you say that is?
Like 2 to 3 times a week. And like, my fiance will like buy a bottle of wine and we'll split it. And then like we'll do that a couple times, like 1 or 2 nights. And then like another night we'll go out to dinner and we'll have like 3 or 4 drinks.
Is that wine when you're going out to dinner?
Wine, vodka, like Moscow mules. Yeah.
And what about any drugs or any sort?
No.
Okay. What about in the past? Were your drinking habits similar?
In college, I drank more, like 4 nights a week, but that was like normal college stuff.
Yeah.
I'd go out and like have like 4 or 5 drinks, shots and stuff, and beers. And...
Can you tell me more about your college, experience? You had that one instance where you didn't feel as motivated, but generally over the course of the how many years you were there, how would you describe that?
I mean, it feels like it was a normal college experience. I went out and drank like a normal college student, like
Right.
had fun. I did okay in school. Like I had like a 3.0 when I graduated. Relationships were good. I dated here and there. I did stupid stuff.
What do you mean by stupid stuff?
I would like drink and take home guys that I just met, and yeah, one of them, I don't know, like stupid. Like one of them didn't end, I guess, the way that I wanted it to.
Could you tell me more about that time?
So it's like I haven't really talked about this ever, really. I think after it happened, I kind of just made sure that if I didn't think about it, if I didn't talk about it, it didn't happen. But there was one night that I had a lot to drink. I met this guy at the bar, which I had done this a couple times. I'd meet someone there, I'd bring them back to my place. And I brought him back to my place, and we were making out and hooking up. And then it got to a point where I didn't want to go further than that. And I told him no, and I said, like, I tried to push him off, and we had sex. But it like, wasn't rape or anything, because I invited him back, and I was drinking, and I initiated the whole thing. So, yeah, then he, like, left, and I never saw him again, and just never told anyone, because I was, like, it was my fault. Yeah.
Well, I do appreciate you for sharing that with me. I do want to reassure you, though. I wouldn't say it was your fault because you were drinking and all of that. Still doesn't mean that you still didn't. You said no, and you still were pushing him off of you. So don't want you to feel like that was your fault at all. Could you tell me at what age this happened?
20.
20. Okay. And no one else knows about this instance. And how would you say that affected you after that?
Well, I didn't do that ever again. I never brought someone back that I didn't know, or that I wasn't, like, dating. I also think I just kind of didn't want to tell anyone because I was embarrassed, and I felt like it was my fault, and I just didn't want to be reprimanded about it. So I just ran and worked out and really just tried to kind of, like, not think about it, because if I didn't think about it, it didn't happen. Yeah. And more recently, nothing's happened to, like, kind of spark up these memories, but I feel like I didn't tell my ACT therapist. I probably should have. And as I'm kind of getting treatment for depression, I feel like I should probably unpack this. So.
Okay, another question. or has there ever been any instance of self-harm, whether currently or in the past, or done anything like that? No.
No.
And usually, when you feel like this, these times periods in your life when you felt like this, how long would you say they've lasted? I know this one kind of is a couple months, but
since a couple months. In the past, like I don't know, when I was 18, I feel like it was 1 or 2 years before like this got better.
Of consistently just feeling down.
Yeah. And then when I was 23, it's like I want to say 6 months, and things got better.
Would you say things got better? So after, that's when you started seeing your psychiatrist. So you would say things got better then?
Yeah, things improved.
Okay. So this is about, it's also, okay, so you're, at time at 18, that was the longest you would say?
Yeah.
Okay, and that was the worst because it was the longest, or?
I feel like when I was 23 was the worst.
The worst time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just because I was more impulsive, I guess.
All right. Okay.
Just make sure this is recording.
You've given me a lot of information here. Again, I want to thank you for that. Is there anything else you would like to tell me that you would think would be relevant for me to consider in terms of going forward?
Can you think about what?
Anything that you think would be relevant in terms of treatment, anything you would like me to know that could, influence how we go forward with treatment?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, if there's nothing else that you would like to discuss, thank you again. My supervisor and I, we will be going over this information, and we will definitely get back to you if you choose to return in terms of treatment options moving forward next week. So thank you again.
Absolutely.
Bye.